All right, let's jump into this deep dive. We're looking at Sigga today,
Okay.
specifically how they're handling asset management for those companies who are all in on SAP.
Yeah.
We've got some of their own material to work with.
Right.
So we'll be able to give a good look at what they're saying and break it down to see if it really holds up
Yeah, that's right.
for those companies who are out there dealing with these kind of problems every day.
Absolutely. I mean, right off the bat, the thing that caught my eye was how they talk about continuous innovation.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just a buzzword. They've been around for 23 years.
That's impressive.
Yeah, you don't get that kind of staying power without knowing what your SAP users need.
Right. And not just knowing, but changing with those needs, right?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be around for a long time, but the tech world moves so fast.
Exactly.
It almost feels like you need to be anticipating what's next rather than just keeping up.
Absolutely. And I think that's what they're trying to convey with this idea of continuous innovation, that they're not just going to get you to a certain point and then leave you there.
Right.
We're going to be constantly evolving alongside you, right? And it's crucial when you're choosing a partner for the long term.
Especially with asset management.
Yeah.
You're making a big investment.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like you're going to be stuck with outdated tech in a couple years.
Absolutely. And think about the industries where SAP is really, really deeply embedded.
Oh, yeah.
Manufacturing, utilities, oil and gas.
Right. Mission critical stuff.
Exactly. They need reliability.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that Sigga's track record really speaks to, right? It gives companies that reassurance, knowing that they're not going to disappear overnight, that they're going to be there to support these really complex assets for years to come.
Now, they also talk about making things very user-friendly, right?
Right.
They've got this Empower platform with a no-code approach. And I got to admit, reading through it,
Yeah.
sounds almost too good to be true.
It's definitely a different way of thinking about it than a lot of the other platforms out there.
So how realistic is this no-code idea?
No code really means they're trying to put the power back into the hands of the people who actually know the assets best.
That's interesting.
Right. So instead of having to go to IT every time you need to tweak something or you need a new report,
Right.
imagine if, the business users, the maintenance managers, heck, even folks out in the field
Yeah.
could just configure these workflows themselves.
Well, I could see where that would be a huge advantage as far as speed goes, right?
Absolutely.
You're cutting out a lot of those bottlenecks and delays
Right.
that happen when you have to wait for a developer to have the time to do it.
Exactly.
So when something's critical, you can respond way faster.
And not just the speed, but the cost savings too, right? Because developer time, that adds up. And if you can empower your existing teams to do more of this configuration on their own, I mean, that's a huge advantage.
Absolutely.
From a resource perspective.
And they're really pushing this idea that because it's built for SAP, the integration is, native and efficient.
That's really where I think Sigga shines compared to some other solutions that try to sort of bridge the gap with complicated coding, and you end up with these data silos and integration headaches, and they really want to get rid of all that, right?
Yeah.
Make it smooth, seamless data flow, And I think that that's a big differentiator for them.
That kind of seamless integration, it just seems so crucial, especially in these industries we're talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you've got data coming in real time from the plant floor. And being able to use that to feed it directly into your maintenance planning or even your strategic decision-making.
Right.
I mean, that kind of insight.
Oh, it's a game changer.
It's got to be huge.
It really is, for operational efficiency.
Yeah.
Potentially even safety, right?
Oh, for sure.
And it's not just about the data itself, it's what you can do with it, right? I think that's what SIG is trying to empower companies to do, right?
Yeah.
To leverage that data to make really informed decisions,
Right.
optimize maintenance strategies, and ultimately really get the most out of their assets.
And that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Getting the most out of those assets. And speaking of that, they talk a lot about their mobile capabilities, especially for SAP PM, which is...
Yeah, the plant maintenance module.
Right. And they mentioned having like over 70,000 mobile users.
It's a big number.
Yeah, but why is that such a big deal? Like, why is mobile so crucial in this whole asset management puzzle?
Well, think about your maintenance technicians, right? They're out in the field.
Right. They're the ones who actually see what's going on.
Exactly. They're the boots on the ground. And Sigga gives them this real-time access to everything. Work orders, equipment history, even the ability to capture data on the spot, right from their mobile device.
So it's not just about seeing what's already been entered. they can actually update things right then and there.
Right, so instead of relying on paper trails and delayed information, which makes the entire maintenance process more efficient and responsive, right?
Yeah, I can see how in industries where any downtime is costing you, potentially tons of money,
Yeah.
that's got to be a big advantage.
It goes beyond just cost saving, though.
Oh, yeah.
Think about the safety implications, right?
Oh, of course.
When technicians have accurate and up-to-date information right there in their hands, they can work more safely and effectively,
Right.
minimizing those risks and potentially preventing more downtime down the line, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is all starting to paint a picture, I think, of how Sigga is really taking this approach that's built for the needs of these specific businesses,
Yeah.
these asset-intensive companies who are running on SAP. And they also highlight a lot this idea of a transparent cost model
Yeah.
and strong customer support. So let's kind of dig into that a little bit.
It's refreshing to see a company address those things head on because so many times software implementations, get bogged down by hidden costs
Yeah.
or lack of support down the road.
And you don't really find out till it's too late.
Right, exactly. And Sigga seems to be trying to flip that script a bit, really emphasize this partnership approach.
Right. It's not just selling you something and then forgetting about you.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
about being there for the long haul.
They understand that implementing a solution like this, it's a journey. It's not just a one-time transaction.
And not just plug and play.
Exactly. And they want to make sure that companies have the support and resources they need.
To not just get it running, but to actually make it work for them.
Absolutely. Not just to go live, but to thrive with their asset management strategy.
And thrive over time, right?
Yeah.
Because things are always changing. So how's their approach to TCO?
Right. The total cost of ownership.
Yeah, how's that different? You mentioned hidden costs. How do they try to prevent that from happening? Those vendors that like to nickel and dime you along the way.
I think it really comes down to transparency. They really seem to emphasize a model that's designed to minimize those hidden costs
Okay.
that often come up with enterprise software.
So what are some of those things that they might be able to prevent or at least warn you about?
Well, think about things like expensive server maintenance,
Oh, yeah.
constant updates that might require external consultants,
Right.
or, limited support options.
Where you're stuck if something breaks and you need help.
Yeah, exactly. And they want to try to make it so that it's more predictable, more manageable cost structure.
Yeah, which I can see how that would be appealing.
Especially for companies that maybe operate on really tight budgets.
Right.
Or they have limited IT resources.
Right. They can't afford to constantly be throwing money at these unexpected problems.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the value of good customer support.
Right. Support's huge.
I mean, imagine a scenario where a critical piece of equipment goes down.
Right.
And you need help right away.
Yeah. And you're waiting on hold for hours.
Yes.
Or you can't even get through.
They really emphasize having a very responsive and knowledgeable support team that's ready to tackle those problems head on.
I mean, that can make the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Between a total disaster
Right.
and, just a minor hiccup.
Absolutely.
It's the difference between everything shutting down and keeping things running.
That level of support can be invaluable.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
We talked about their commitment to innovation, specifically within the SAP world. Their user-friendly, no-code platform.
Right.
This seamless SAP integration that they've talked so much about, and the importance of having good support. So it's a pretty compelling picture that they've painted. But at the end of the day, what does it actually mean for the companies who choose to work with them?
Right. How does it translate into tangible benefits?
Yeah, we can talk about features and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But what are the real results?
Ultimately, I think it comes down to how Sigga empowers these businesses to achieve their goals, right? And their whole approach is about maximizing asset performance.
Right.
Improving operational efficiency and reducing costs.
Which are all things
Exactly.
any business wants.
Every company wants.
And especially in these industries we keep talking about.
Right, yeah.
Where downtime can mean millions of dollars lost.
Absolutely.
I mean, those benefits really hit the bottom line.
They do, and I think that's what Sigga's trying to do, right? Help companies move away from just reactive maintenance.
Where you're always putting out fires.
Exactly, to a more proactive, predictive approach, right?
Where you're preventing the fires from even starting.
Right, prevent that costly downtime and ensure that those assets are always operating at peak performance.
So it's about working smarter.
Exactly.
Not harder, right?
Yeah.
Making sure those things are up and running.
It's about leveraging technology,
Yeah.
deep SAP expertise, to really gain a competitive edge.
In a world that's moving so fast.
Yeah. The business environment today is just, it's rapidly evolving.
And you got to keep up.
Absolutely. All right. So this has been a really insightful look at Sigga and what they're trying to do for businesses that are running on SAP, these asset-intensive companies.
We've explored their approach. We've talked about the potential benefits. So now, for our listener, where can they go to learn more?
I'd encourage everyone to go check out Sigga's website. It's Sigga.com.
Sigga.com.
And there you can find all sorts of detailed information about their solutions.
Okay.
Case studies showing how this is actually working in the real world.
Right, so it's not just theory.
Exactly. And they have tons of resources there
to help you figure out if this is the right solution for you.
Yeah, if Sigga's the right partner for your asset management journey.
That's a great starting point.
Yeah.
Sigga.com.
Absolutely.
And thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of SAP asset management with Sigga.
You got it.
We'll be back soon with more.